take a look at our double angle formulas for sine and cosine. So if I had the sine of a double angle, so 2 theta, this is really the same thing as theta plus theta. So this is the sine of theta plus theta. So I'm just adding 2 angles together. So I'm going to expand this out using the sum formula for sine. So I'm going to have sine, cosine, cosine, sine, keeping the sign of plus. So I would have the sine of theta, cosine theta, plus cosine theta, sine theta. So there are 2 of the same things. So the sine of 2 theta is equal to 2 sine theta, cosine theta. Okay, we can do the same thing for cosine. So the cosine of a double angle is the same thing as cosine of theta plus theta. So expanding that out, cosine, cosine, sine, sine. So cosine, cosine, minus sine, sine. We find that the cosine of 2 theta is cosine squared theta minus sine squared theta. Okay, but keep in mind that cosine squared and sine squared can be rewritten using our Pythagorean identities. So we're calling that the sine squared of theta plus cosine squared of theta equals 1. Okay, so rewriting cosine squared theta as 1 minus sine squared theta. We come up with the second formula of 1 minus 2 sine squared theta. Or replacing sine squared theta. So I would have cosine squared theta minus, replacing sine squared theta with 1 minus cosine squared theta, gives us a third formula. So distributing that negative, I would end up with cosine squared theta minus 1 plus another cosine squared theta, so 2 cosine squared theta, and then minus 1. Okay, so cosine of a double angle actually has 3 different formulas. The first one involves both cosine and sine. The next 2 involve just one or the other. So I would probably recommend you use the second or third one based on whatever information you're given. So let's do a couple examples of finding sine 2 theta and cosine 2 theta. So let's say we're told that the cosine of theta is 3/5, and you're also told the quadrant, which is quadrant 1. Okay, so I'm going to draw my picture in quadrant 1, whose cosine is 3/5, which makes the opposite side 4. So to find the sine of 2 theta, that's 2 sine theta cosine theta. And then just fill in the information from the picture. So sine of theta is 4/5, and cosine of theta was given as 3/5. So multiplying that out, we get 24/25. So then to find the cosine of 2 theta, we have 3 options. Since we know the sine of theta and the cosine of theta, we could actually use the first one. But let's say for some reason you messed up the sine of theta. Now you're going to mess up cosine of 2 theta also. So if I were you, I would only ever use the given information, because you don't want to use anything you've worked with because you may have messed it up. So I'm going to use the information of cosine, which means I'm going to use the third formula. Okay, cosine again was given, so we'd have twice of the cosine of theta being squared, then minus 1. So 2 times 9/25 minus 1. So 18/25 minus 1, or negative 7/25. Let's try one more of those. Let's say the tangent of theta is given as 1/2. and then you're told that's in quadrant 3. So based on that information, we're going to find sine and cosine of 2 theta. So the first thing we should do is definitely draw the picture in the third quadrant, whose opposite is 1 and adjacent is 2, but because we're in the third quadrant, they'll both be negative. So to find the missing side, I'll take the square of both legs, so 1 plus the 4, square root of that, so square root of 5. Okay, so sine of 2 theta is 2 sine theta cosine theta. Sine theta is going to be negative 1 over the square root of 5. Cosine of theta is going to be negative 2 over the square root of 5. So the two negatives cancel, giving me a 4 over square root of 25, which is 5. Okay, for the cosine of 2 theta, again, you have a lot of choices. We weren't given sine or cosine, we were given tangent. Hopefully I didn't mess anything up in this picture, so I'm just going to use maybe the one I haven't used yet. Let me do 1 minus 2 sine squared theta. And then the sine of theta was negative 1 over the square root of 5. Square that. Okay, so 1 minus 2 times 1 over 5. So 1 minus 2/5 would be 3/5.